name's Kate. Welcome to Seeking to Remain. Thanks for joining me in our new home in Alabama for the year. We have officially moved in. This will not be my official recording spot. I'm not sure that the playroom vibe is gonna totally stick for Gospel Reflections, but it's a room that nobody else is in during resting time this afternoon, and it had a convenient tub that my phone is sitting on so that I could do some recording. Not sure where my tripod is. It's somewhere. It's just not here. For our gospel today, we're in the Gospel of Matthew. And one of my Bibles I was able to unearth. In Matthew 11, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light." I don't know if the camera caught. I have a little Thomas the Tank Engine book earmarking a passage further on in Matthew. One of the citations, references that a Bible will have can point you to other verses that can either further explain or give additional context to what you're listening to, or what you're reading, or in your case, listening to. And when Jesus is talking about people who are laboring and who are burdened, the Bible, it says to look forward to Matthew 23, verse 4, where Jesus is again talking to a crowd, and he is chastising the Pharisees and the scribes. And he says in 23:4, "They," the Pharisees, "tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them upon people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them." And that gives us a little bit more to think about when it comes to our gospel today. Because wouldn't it be so great if Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened. I will give you rest. Go hang out. I'll take care of all your work. You don't have to work anymore. You can just chill. It's going to be good." Because that's not what Jesus says. We still have work to do. We still put on the yoke of Christ. But what does that mean? It means that we labor with Jesus. Jesus is saying, "Come and do my will. Walk where I'm going to walk, and I will help you along the way." This isn't a single oxen yoke. If you can think about, like Little House on the Prairie, or any of those field plowing early America images that come to your mind. Sometimes you had an ox with just one yoke across their shoulders, and it would be a single oxen plowing along. That's what was happening under the Pharisees. They had lists and lists of laws and rules and things that they had been given by God to instruct the people. But the goal was to bring everyone into right relationship with God, not just to keep the Pharisees on top and everybody else underneath. Jesus says, "Come to me and take my yoke upon your shoulders, for I am meek and humble of heart." Jesus is going to work with us. This is a double oxen yoke. We're on one side, but Jesus is on the other. We can fight and pull and tug and try and go in a direction that Jesus doesn't want to go. And he'll go with us, but it's going to be hard because we're going to be pulling in opposite directions. We want to go over here, but Jesus knows the way is this way. He's going to continue to try and guide us back to the way that is to heaven, the best way. When we go the way that Jesus goes, when we do what Jesus is calling us to do, when we're fulfilling our vocation in such a way that is bringing us closer to Him, the path to heaven becomes much clearer. It's hard. We would like everything to be easy. We want everything to be comfortable. And we know that Christ calls us to greatness. He calls us to difference. He calls us to live a life that is not necessarily according to the norm of what society sees as beneficial to a human person. The way of Christ is one of sacrifice. It's often one of suffering. So how can we say that this is the easy way, that Jesus' yoke is easy, when it is sometimes painful? Maybe instead of saying the easy way, we can say the best way. Because we know that what is best for us is sometimes self-denial. What is best for us is sometimes some sacrifice in order to achieve something even better, in order to attain that goal that we have. The best choice in this moment is to do the hard thing. Jesus' way is best. And someone that I like to think about, or that helps with this tricky verbiage, tricky way of talking about things, is someone like Mother Teresa, who the world knows sacrificed and suffered and worked hard and willingly chose to give up the majority of any creature comfort in order to serve where she was called to serve. And at the same time, she was going through this whole experience of service that to the world looked awful. She was one of the most joyful people. She was able to show us what fruit comes from following the best way, from following Christ. It's not a joy that the world can give you. It's not a peace that the world can give you. It comes from that closeness with God. So what can you do today to take a step further along the best way? How can you nestle a little more snugly into that yoke that Jesus is calling you to, the work that He's calling you to in the world? Hopefully next week I will have a tripod and maybe something a little more permanent looking. Maybe. We'll see. Otherwise, we'll be back in the playroom again. But thank you for sticking with me through the move. If you're interested, there's a reflection about more of the rest side instead of the work side. This seemed to tend more toward the work side of our gospel today. So if you're interested in the rest side, that's link will be in the description for the blog post. I will see you all next week.